Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna be jumping back in with Hurricane today and continuing on her story. Welcome everyone here. Yep, mic check, sorry. I had to clear my throat immediately upon clicking over. I was like, wait a minute, that's not gonna be great to open up stream and immediately start making the worst sounds known to mankind. So, I'm good now, though. What were we doing? We needed to sleep, didn't we? I think that's all we really needed to do, because everybody is full on food? Yes, indeed. Alright, let's go ahead and take a nap then. It is so wild to go from Tempest to Hurricane, because, oh my goodness, the raw chaos of 7 puppies compared to now we have 3. It feels way too calm. I am very used to the constant, endless chaos. It is interesting to have a break from that. I guess we're full on energy already, pretty much. So let's send them in the den here. Oh, nope. I ain't about that one. Where are these heckers? Soul, for the love of all that's good. I don't know where the Soul. Are you kidding me? Ma'am? Get your rear in the den. No, you do not. Get out. Get Molly's wolves. Alright, was that 1F? 1M. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. Well, our smallest pup seems to be our boldest pup, apparently. Yeah, just one, fortunately. I feel like I get a lot of one wolf den attacks lately, which I'm not gonna complain about, but sometimes they just like to show up. And no, you should know, you do not have the advantage of numbers. I'm gonna kick your butt. Somebody's taken our territory, too. Do we still need that hex? I guess we don't. Yeah, I guess we don't still need that hex because we're in this one. Yeah. So we need these bottom ones, though. Alright, I guess we'll go down this way. We can hunt again if we need to. Yeah, Pigeon isn't a part of this litter, so we have that going for us. I don't know, though. It looks like Soul is trying to give her a run for her money at this point. Yeah, right during a stranger wolf attack, right in the middle of it. Gotta start off the episode with a bang. Oh my goodness. I gotta test my reflexes. I'm really tired today. Oh my goodness. So I'm like, uh-oh, I hope I have the coordination to play this game and play well. I'm tired and my mouse is dying, and it's not like dead yet, but it's giving me like the red flashy, so I'm just like living in constant apprehension of when it's gonna go out. But like, you know, I don't like wasting things, so I don't like wasting batteries, so I'm like, I don't want to just pull the battery out of it and like not use the battery. not completely run the battery out, but now I'm like, okay, this is absolutely gonna die during a YouTube video or a stream, so we're kind of playing with fire here. It's always 2 and your mate just stands there. No, I can't talk about Tempest yet, but you'll see some of the heckery that went down this week, or if you're watching this recorded, it's probably already out. But yeah, Tempest has experienced some heckery as of late. You'll have to watch the videos for that. I'm just making sure that I'm recording here. Pull the battery out and put in a new one when you need to make sure it won't die, and switch back to the dying one for low stakes use. Yeah, maybe. That actually is not a bad idea. Just swap it back and forth. That might be better than what I've been doing now. Open up the energy drink. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, I did crack my energy drink before stream this time. I do have one on me right now. They're like the little, you know, I feel like, I always feel like, because, I don't know, I feel like I should be more reserved about the things that I talk about and be like, hey company, do you want to sponsor me? Because I get opinions on this kind of stuff, and then I feel like I end up, okay, this is a fine spot. This is a post. I feel like I end up plugging stuff, and then I'm like, but you know, I could see if they would sponsor me to talk about their product. I don't know. Anyway, I like the V8 energy drinks because they're just like, they're basically tea and juice. And I'm not always like a fan of straight tea. Like I like some of it, but it depends. It's very easy for it to be too strong for me. Like, I absolutely despise coffee. I don't know if that's something you guys knew about me or not. I cannot stand coffee. It is, I don't know, the taste, it does not vibe. It does not matter how much sugar you put in it. It does not matter how many other things you put in coffee. I will taste it, and like, this is just a thing about me, is I can... If there's a component in something, very rarely do I not taste it. So I can taste if there's coffee. Like, I can't do like an iced coffee or really sweet coffee. I would rather do that without the coffee at all, because it's just too strong for me. And I don't know what it is about the coffee taste that I don't like. I just don't like it. I do remember one time my mom tried giving me when I was a kid, she wanted to like try to put me off of developing like a coffee addiction as an adult, and so she was like, here Jay, here have this, and she just gave me a cup of straight black coffee, and I took like one sip and spit it out. I was like, this is the nastiest thing I've ever had in my life, so I guess it worked. But I can't do coffee. But the tea depends. I'm just not usually motivated enough to drink it for energy, so I like these energy drinks if I do need the caffeine boost, which apparently is one of many symptoms of ADHD, is that caffeine has a reduced effect on you, so that would probably explain part of this, especially if you're not ADHD. Please be careful with caffeine. Too much of it can still be bad for you, but I find that it helps with my symptoms, so I do tend to drink it. Prefer the half lemonade, half sweet tea stuff. Yeah, that is valid. Oh my goodness, it's what one is it? I think it's the frickin' Panera Bread lemonade, charged lemonade that has like 300 frickin' milligrams of caffeine in one drink or something stupid like that. Like for context, apparently a cup of 80 is like under 100. So I don't know. Apparently Panera serves like this super lemonade that has so much caffeine, and then a lot of people will realize it has caffeine and are just like, why do I have so much energy? Why am I jittery? What did I have? And like, that's the lemonade. It was kind of a famous internet post going around about that. The gene that causes your taste buds to taste only bitterness when tasting tannins, which is in most tea and coffee. Well, that's probably another genetic discovery about me. My anomalous genetics, or maybe not so anomalous, but in some ways. That combined with the neurodivergent hypersensitivity is probably the explanation for why I don't like coffee then. When you drink coffee, you get sleepy rather than activated. That's kind of what my experience can be. It depends. Mostly it like returns me to a more normal level of functionality, and that can mean making me tired depending on if I'm like, I don't know, if I'm having insomnia, sometimes it helps with the tiredness. If I'm not having insomnia, sometimes it wakes me up. I don't know. It's weird. It is apparently a very strange interaction between caffeine and ADHD. It isn't healthy for anxious. No. And like, again, don't have too much of it. I definitely have a hard limit on how much caffeine I should have at a given time, and I do my best to stick to that, because if not, then that's not the best thing in the world for me, and I recognize that. Tannins are also in wine. Oh my goodness. This explains so much. This explains so much. Like, y'all, I don't drink in any meaningful capacity. That's just a personal choice of mine. But I have, like, tried some types of alcohol, and I've hated almost every single one. So, I am not in any capacity a wine connoisseur, and that would make sense. Like, that would make a lot of sense, actually, if that's... It just doesn't taste good. I'm sorry, it doesn't taste good. It tastes like what happens when you let your prunes get too old and they start to go off. It's not good. I don't like it. Herbal tea doesn't have tannins, if you recall correctly, so herbal tea is probably a safe bet. Yeah, I think usually I like the more fruity teas than just like straight up more tea flavored teas, I guess. Oh my goodness. Your family make you a cup of coffee when you couldn't get to sleep and it always knock you out. Tannins can also counteract some types of venom, but please don't treat venomous bites with wine or coffee or tea. It's no substitute for a hospital trip. Yeah, that's an important qualification, but I'm sorry, what? Rain is sharing a ton of facts about tannins in the chat, and I'm flabbergasted by every single one of them. Where did you learn all these things? And why have I never heard this in my life? This is wild. Alright, actually, maybe I don't want these elk to run. Yeah, very fascinating facts. Okay, I want this elk to stay put and let me kill him here. Please die a warrior's death and do not cause me problems. I am hungry, I need to eat, and you do not have health. Tannins tasting bad came from social media. Tannins helping with venom came from a murder mystery TV show. Interesting. Huh. Well, the more you know, I guess. This contextualizes some of the weird tastes I've never really had a full explanation for. So, that is interesting. I've always just kind of chalked it up to being picky because, without a doubt, I am a very picky person. I just have a lot of food that I straight up do not like, and unfortunately, very rarely do I have food that I'm neutral on. I either really like it or I really don't like it, is what I've noticed. I guess we're talking about taste and food preferences today. But yeah, I rarely feel neutral about it. Are you gonna come join us? I guess maybe I didn't actually activate my secondary health. I thought Are you cruising for a bruising? Because that's what you gonna get. You wanna throw hands? Because I got hands to throw. Yeah, you better get. You get. This is my carcass. I killed this and I did not kill it for you. You get. Go on, get out of here. You ain't welcome. You're not even edible, so I have no interest in you. Please leave. You are just so determined to steal, aren't you? Well, you get. You get. Who's that running in the background? I think that's just a hare. Not someone else here to cause problems. Get out! I'ma kick your butt. You get out of here. You hear? Get out! You think you could just roll up here and steal my hard-earned kill? I mean, it wasn't that hard, but nevertheless. Oh, heck you. Typhoon, help me wreck this man. Get out. Go on, get. Thanks for the needless injury, you jerk. Susquatch for WolfQuest continues. Just don't move and let me kill you. Yeah. That be the way of things. That do be the way of things. Hurricane doing violence, as always. As always. Ah, Cougar just like causing problems, apparently. I was gonna say, oh, this is this is funny. I'm like, I was sitting here like ruminating in the background. I'm like, I wonder how. I guess wolves probably can't afford to be that picky, but I wonder if they do develop like preferences for certain prey based off flavor. Like, I can personally attest that elk and venison are very, very good. I've had both of them. I tried elk because of WolfQuest, and it quickly became one of my one of my favorite meats. I don't know if that was purely causation, but like, I don't know. We went to this fancy restaurant out in Colorado one year. We were visiting family, and they had elk on the menu, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna eat elk like the WolfQuest wolves. And so I tried it, and then I was like, wait, this actually slaps. And it's so rare and it's so expensive, and like I almost never get to have it, but it is very good. I do like it a lot. And the same thing for venison. Venison is also very good, but it's also like, it's another one of those things that almost nowhere serves, and when they do, you're gonna pay a fortune for it, so I don't eat venison very often either. Oh my goodness. Roleplayed wolves, so much favorite food became elk. Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know. I really don't know. But, yeah, no, I find a lot of a lot of different meats I end up liking quite a lot. I'm very much, I feel like I would struggle to be vegetarian for any reason because I just like, I don't know, I have a meat lover's diet. I like my protein, and I think protein is something that I tend to need. So I would have a really hard time not eating meat. The one thing that scares me is like whatever that type of tick is that makes you develop a meat allergy. I would be so sad if that ever happened to me. That scares me like more than most insect bites. That's the one that scares me. I don't even think we have them up here in Wisconsin. I mean, we have other types of ticks, but I don't think we have the ones that can make you develop a meat allergy. So hopefully I'm safe from them for now. Venison's a lot easier to get where you live now. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of hunting that happens up here in Wisconsin. So, why do ticks carry all the horrible diseases? I don't know. Bug warning, I guess, but ticks are nightmarish for me on a conceptual level because I hate the very idea of them. Like, mosquitoes are bad enough. Ticks just frighten me, and it doesn't help that my mom has horror stories of of growing up in the North Midwest and romping around in the backwoods and coming back with ticks, and I'm just like, oh, that's just, oh no, I don't like that. Don't like that. It's not. I don't appreciate that. That's one thing that does scare me a little bit, but I'm also not out usually traipsing through the fields during tick season, so hopefully I'm pretty safe from that. Oh, okay, I was gonna say we're not gonna have anything to do today, but apparently, yes, we are. It looks like there is some shenanigans and heckery going on in the distance here. You can follow Voyager's Wolf Project on Facebook, and they did an excerpt about the prey habits of two specific wolves that showed they do sometimes prefer different prey over others, even when the amount of prey is similar in their area. That's so cool! Yeah, I love Voyagers. Voyagers does a really cool job with their research, and they've made a lot of interesting discoveries. Like, there's so much about the nuance of what wild wolves actually do that you just don't usually see go down. And how much Voyagers is trying to, like, explore all of that is so dang cool. I really love the research that they're doing. Absolutely fascinating to see some of their findings. They have found some very interesting stuff. Oh no, I am so sorry, Vampires Wolf. That is exactly what I'm afraid of, is not being able to eat meat because stupid tick bite. Like, that sucks. That really sucks. Well, the other thing that happened to me too that makes me so dang sad is I developed a freaking watermelon allergy. And it's the worst. And it's actually like one of my most serious allergies too, which is the part that sucks. I used to love watermelon growing up, but for whatever reason my body decided it no longer liked watermelon, and it is officially the worst because I like really can't have it at all. It is actively dangerous for me to have watermelon, and that just utterly sucks. I really wish that hadn't happened. That is one of the things that I'm very salty about. I mean, I have a lot of allergies, y'all. I am allergy central. The one saving grace about being up here too is that I don't think I have as many allergies to the native plants in Wisconsin as I did in California, because there's an entire season in California where I would just be like, my nose, it's full of pollen. So I don't get that as much up here for what I've noticed, even though there's probably a lot more flowering plants in the springtime than there was in California, because we have actual trees. Now, we had quite a few plants out in the desert too. They're just really scrubbly little things. Most of my allergies are also not normally that bad, except for the watermelon allergy for some very unfortunate reason. Where is this den? It's right up ahead. Okay, I just need to keep going straight. The one thing that I didn't do. Watermelon it is delicious. I wish it didn't hate me. I used to love watermelon when I was a kid. And I am very sad, and someday my hubris will consume me and I will try it again and be filled with regret and be like, why did I do this? This still sucks. Let's see. Oh, Voyager showed a video of a lone wolf that's been surviving with a broken left leg for over a year, and he's very big, which is a sign that he's healthy. Despite the broken leg, he's been able to maintain finding food. Wow. That is honestly something that is really wild about wild animals, is their ability to persist even through, like, serious injuries. Like, they have to be able to, otherwise they're not going to survive very well. But, like, in the first game, the limpy leg was actually based off of a wolf who survived an injury that left him with a permanent limp. And, like, he survived. He did okay for himself, from what I remember. So it is really incredible how resilient some wild animals end up being. Like, holy cow. It is... I mean, you know, they're surviving out in the wild. They don't really have vets out there, so they kind of just have to be able to make do. Yeah, dietary restrictions are, like, not to be a total downer about it, but, like, they're not always fun. Thankfully, like, I'm glad that there's becoming better options for people who have dietary restrictions. Like, I think I've talked about being gluten-free before as well, and, like, they have a lot of options for that now. I went gluten-free at a really young age, and unfortunately at that age, all that we really had tasted like cardboard and had the consistency of cardboard. So for many, many years, I just didn't have bread. Now there's a lot of really good bread options that you can barely even tell are gluten-free. They have frickin' Red Lobster gluten-free biscuit mix, which is one of my favorites, and it's, like, officially produced by Red Lobster, I'm pretty sure. They just make that, and it's good, and you can't even tell that they're gluten-free. Or frickin' Culver's has gluten-free buns for their burgers, and you can barely even tell that they're gluten-free. So, like, there's a lot more options for dietary restrictions now, and I hope that's something that we can continue to improve in, having actually good options. Because that makes it a lot more bearable. Otherwise, it can be a little bit of an unfun time. Alright, let's see. Okay, right. I guess we technically don't. Okay, I'm struggling because I claimed a bunch of territory not knowing what we need, and now some of it's fine to decay, and some of it isn't. So, but I think this one up here is the main we have to deal with. He's a pretty guy with a nice gray coat. The video's on their YouTube as well. I'll have to go watch it because I don't think I've seen that one yet for Voyagers. Dietary restrictions are a disability. You're absolutely right. Especially when you're looking at stuff like really severe allergies, like the anaphylactic ones. Or when you're looking at something like celiac, which can be like, I don't have celiac. I have a milder version of gluten intolerance. I can technically eat it, it's just bad for me. But, you know, it's not to the degree that some people have, where it's like, if a speck of wheat touches this, I will be sick. And, you know, that is a disability, and I wish we treated it more as such, I guess. This has been a very rambly stream, as we're just running about doing things. I don't know, I never know how people feel about, like, the rambly streams, especially watching back to them. Hopefully y'all are chill with this, because I talk about a lot of weird topics, so you get kind of just the unfiltered whatever happens into my brain, and sometimes, hopefully it's interesting to hear me ramble about things. But yeah, I wish we treated dietary restrictions a little bit differently. I wish we understood that, yeah, a lot of them are actually a disability. Especially when you have, like, 'cause I think we're better about the stigma around, like, being gluten-free, but I know for a while it was, like, the really kind of fatty kind of thing to do, and I think, unfortunately, that oh my goodness, you are still here. Why are you still here? That kind of just, like, I feel like that delegitimized it for a lot of people, which is sad, because some people, like, whether it's a choice or not, first of all, you should still be respecting if somebody does that as personal preference, but especially because it can be something that's linked to an actual condition, it's especially important to respect that and to not Like, to not assume that somebody's just doing it for the fad. So, let's see. He's definitely a trooper who's surviving with a broken leg as a lone wolf. Holy heck. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Oh my goodness. Alright. You find talking like commentary more than no commentary. Yeah, that's fair. Stream is definitely interesting because all of it happened. Like, you guys see me play through the parts of the game, just all the running around, that pretty much I straight up cut out of the YouTube videos. Not that it's not interesting at all, but it's a lot more fun to play than it is to watch, I feel like. Just because you're kind of just chilling and doing the same thing, just running around, trotting around, looking for trouble. There's a lot of downtime, and that doesn't always... If I don't talk through it, it doesn't lend itself to very engaging videos, is what I've found. So I do end up trimming a lot of that out, but on stream you guys get to see it all, and so then that's when I usually just fill it with this kind of unfiltered talking, and I'm glad that's kind of interesting. You get so much garbage drinking sugar-free, but it's because of diabetes. Yeah, that's the other thing. Or like the whole dairy-free alternative milks and stuff. Sometimes that can be because of really legitimate conditions, and like, first of all, whether it is a legitimate condition or a preference, you still should not be bullying people over it. It is still not okay to bully somebody for making that choice. But second of all, it is especially not okay when it is something that could be a very serious life-impacting issue. Like, that's even... Neither is okay, but there's two degrees... They're not... Like, there's two separate points as to why that is bad there. Or lactose-free. People who claim milk allergies are fake and just over-dramatic lactose intolerance. Noisy, your brother's been sent to the hospital because people didn't believe him. Yeah, that really sucks. That is... Like, I don't want to be, like, overly negative about this kind of thing, or just be too much of a downer about food allergies, but, like, I hope if you are hearing this and you're... I hope the people who are watching this wouldn't be bullying people anyway, but I hope that if you ever have kind of laughed about that or you haven't understood it, this might lend some context and some understanding, because it is hard to understand other people's experiences that are not your own, I found, and oftentimes it takes that insight into it to start to recognize it, but I wish that was a much more common perspective rather than let's be mean to people we don't understand, I guess. And not everyone takes that approach, but I also feel like society has kind of this perspective of if you don't understand things the first time without ever having them explained to you, you're a bad person. And I think that's a bad extreme as well, because the way that we develop that understanding and that empathy, oh, hello, Thunderstorm, is by interacting with other people and hearing and talking to people with experiences that aren't our own. That's why I like stories too, because I think it's really good for helping foster that empathy. Also, hello everyone. we're talking about different life experiences right now, but I think it's really good for helping you develop empathy for life experiences you may not have gone to. But at the same time, I don't think we should be expecting people to intrinsically be aware of that, I guess, because a lot of the time it is just genuine ignorance. We don't innately understand experiences that we haven't had. That's not something that we do. How can we? If we haven't had that experience, we're not gonna understand it fully. And so, like, it's not a moral failure to not know things, but at the same time, it's something that I personally feel it's something we should be striving for, is to understand other people better and to listen to the experiences of those around us and learn from, like, there's no condemnation in not knowing things. Hello, bears. And that is something that often frustrates me about the way that society presents this. And there's also no condemnation in holding different beliefs, I guess. And that's something that I think society likes to make way too black and white as well, is that, you know, it's... I don't know. There's a lot of nuance to this topic. I feel like there's more nuance to it than I can cover in one YouTube video and one live stream. Yeah, it's better to assume people strictly need what they request. Another frustrating example of that is plastic straws. I rambled before about how you need plastic straws if a restaurant gives you heavy glass. Your muscle weakness makes it safe to lift heavy glasses because they could shatter, and plastic straws are the only ones clean and safe and sturdy enough for me to feel good and safe using. Yeah, so that is an excellent example of why it's important to listen to other people, and like that may vary from person to person. And the thing is, sometimes people have conflicting needs as well. It would be like, it's a lot of these things that I think get loudly talked about as, well, there's this one obvious solution that if you're not doing this, you're a terrible person. No, it's complicated. Humans are by nature complicated. And I think that's something that is very core in a lot of the stereotypical internet fights, is that without a recognition for that complexity and how everyone's experiences are going to be different, then, like, without that understanding, you're gonna... That's why one-size-fits-all solutions usually don't work, I guess. A good example of conflicting needs is two college students living in a dorm. One of them is allergic to dogs, another needs a blood sugar monitor dog. Which one do you accommodate? It's very difficult to have to decide. Exactly. Exactly. So, it's not as simple as, well, if we all just do this, or if we all just do it this way, because usually something like that is going to help some people and exclude others. Oops. And I will look at some of the other comments here in a second, but we have to finish this hunt here. So, I don't even think it's as simple as people minding their own business in some ways. Oh no, sorry, Typhoon. Oh, okay, well, he got it down, but I guess he got a little bit hurt in the process here. It's... Oops. Oh, it shows up over there. Does it show up in here? It doesn't. It shows up over here, so minor leg injury, okay. It's not even as simple as minding your own business. I think it's more having respect for other people, and I don't know. Getting too black and white about things, I think, is a risk, because people are complex, and we all have good and bad in us. No one is exempt from either, no one is without any good, and no one is without any bad, and the minute you start to make it into, well, I'm right, you're wrong, or you're the bad guy here, like, the minute you start assigning that to people, you're in a really dangerous place. And that, I think, is more the core of it, is not so much mind your own business, but more have respect and understanding for other people as people. And, you know, you can hold your own beliefs, you can have your own experiences, but that does not mean that you're the only one. And sometimes, like, I guess your experience doesn't invalidate other people's experiences, and sometimes those experiences will conflict, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes that's just part of life. Yeah. So anyway, this is an abstract subject that is hard to put into words, but these are some of my thoughts on it. Is I just wish we valued listening a little bit more, and I wish we valued understanding a little bit more, and I wish we valued understanding and still not agreeing, and not necessarily always making it a matter of right or wrong. Like, you know, I did a class that involves some conflict resolutions, like, you know, kind of, it was like a social skills class, and one of the things that I think was valuable that was taught in that class was, you know, don't put being right above your relationship. And I wish that that applied more broadly too, even to people you don't have a direct relationship with. Don't put being right above recognizing and respecting someone else's humanity, I guess. So that's my complex, lengthy take on the subject. I wish we all had a little bit more understanding, and I wish that we didn't stigmatize not knowing things quite so much as we can tend to. Let's see. Yeah, no. And I think by minding business, you don't care if you think bad of me, but don't let your feelings put others in danger. Yeah, that's a good way to put it as well. Oh, problems. Hello. Y'all, please. Okay, Twister's going in the den. If one of you guys... Okay. I would like to... Okay, I think... Okay, is Soul fine? Okay, I'm gonna go back over to Stratus. Soul, please go in the den. Soul's in the den. Alright. Alright. Oop. Would like Stratus to go all the way in the den, but I don't think Stratus is going to necessarily go in the den. Alright, well, if you're not going in the den, then I'm picking you back up. And we're just gonna carry Stratus, because hopefully this will prevent the eagle from attacking. So, yep, there we go. Get out. Be gone. Leave us in peace. Alright. Yeah, let's call the pups back out in the open. I was gonna sleep. We've had a very chill episode in-game. What graphic settings do I play on? I play on Stupendous here. So, let's go ahead and sleep, I think. I'm gonna sleep all the way through the night, I guess. We're kind of... Not a lot has been happening. Things have been very calm, and that worries me slightly. There goes Twister. Yep, zooming off into the distance. So, let's see. And, okay, we've got fleas a little bit, that's fine. 7.7, goodness, Soul is tiny. And how is our territory? Our territory is fine. I'm gonna feed these guys and we're gonna sleep a bit because I think we're gonna do like real wolves do and don't waste energy. There is no sense in running around and spending your energy when you don't need to. So we're just gonna hang out and sleep a while longer, I think. Explains why videos always look so fantastic. Yeah, that is something that I prioritize when I upgraded my last computer and I built this one, is when you put gameplay on YouTube, it's not a requirement to have the top graphical settings, but I definitely think it helps. I definitely think people enjoy it. And I think a lot of people live vicariously through it because sometimes you need a beefy freaking computer to do this. And if you don't have a beefy freaking computer, sometimes it's nice to be able to watch someone who does. And I do this for my job, so it is something that makes sense for me to do. Are these guys full on food? Pretty much. Stratus is just finishing up a little bit. Y'all, hang on, come back. Time to go to bed. Come on. Yep, there they go. Alright. Soul and Twister are chasing, yes. Use Stupendous until newborn ungulates because you can't ever tell long grass on anything but poor. Oh no! Yeah, sometimes it blends in and it does make it hard to hunt. Yeah, that is the one thing about the inexorable creep of technology. There's kind of this never-ending chase between better graphics and better computer performance, where it is cool to be able to push the limits, but it does make it hard if you're not staying on, like, the bleeding edge of technology and keeping up with exactly everything as it comes out. Yeah, I think Typhoon just healed. I think that's what that little music was. Alright, minor injury healed. Now we have more stuff to attend to. Y'all, let's go back in the den. There's gonna be something that attacks us, probably. No? Really? I don't trust like this. Alright. Alright. Well, let's... Actually, do I want you to come with me? Let's go get food. And then you can go back home. It's also easier because we don't have to get quite as much food for only 3 pups. That's gonna be very easy to handle here. Yeah, Hurricane healed a while ago, I think. She's not injured anymore. So, let's see. Where is this carcass? Did we just run right by it? I guess we must have. Oh, it's over here. Alright. Oh, hello, Wilbur. Yeah, this carcass is... far from home in the first place. You missed that when we were having deep thoughts. Yeah, we do that sometimes. I feel like I'm weirdly tired to be talking like this. I am in that very strange state of sleep deprivation, and trying to carry out a rational conversation is somewhat difficult, so I hope everything that I said earlier made sense, because there's a lot to unpack with all this, and it is not a simple topic. Okay, I'm glad y'all like the way I presented it. I hope it was clear enough. You're not done eating, goodness sakes. Alright, well, I already sent him back, so I guess he'll head back now. We need to go mark down here, right? Yes. I'm trying to get the clown car achievement and Lost River with the fuels, but you're getting 7 pups in every save file except those ones. Oh goodness, yeah, some of the Lost River achievements are really, really specific. Rip. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that is the way of things. That is the RNG. When you need the RNG to cooperate, it will not. It is just Murphy's Law. Alrighty. Also, y'all, it has been so freaking hot up here. I am scared to think of what a heat wave like this would be like in California, because we've been like in the high 80s, mid 80s. But that is still too hot for me. Some of it, I think, is the insulation. Buildings here actually have insulation, which I did not realize was not a thing in California. Buildings in California are just not insulated, apparently. And like, I would say that's because they don't need them, but I think it's more that people don't think they need them, and they do. And then they don't have them, and it's bad. So buildings here have actual insulation, and that means in the summertime it is warm. I did not run my heater the entire time that I was here last winter, because it just never got cold in this building, and my computer is a space heater. So the fact that we're having a heat wave, it is a little uncomfortable and sweaty. At present. I much prefer it to California, but I'm also just sitting here like, no, this is why I moved. This is what I wanted to avoid. I found out that my heat tolerance is more garbage than I thought it was. So I am doing my best to stay cool, and sometimes failing just a little bit. Buildings in hot locations do better with no insulation if they're properly air conditioned. See, that's the thing, is you would think that, but California doesn't even build them with proper air conditioning, or not no insulation, but less insulation than cold locations do. Yeah, because like, I don't know, it feels like all of them are really, really bad at how they were set up. I don't know what it is about it, but like, they don't, even with the air conditioning, it's never. The rooms you need to be cool are never actually the coolest. So I don't know what is up with California and the way that it builds buildings, but I don't like it. It doesn't do what it needs to be doing. 80 degrees isn't bad for you. You deal with 108 where you lived. I used to deal with that, and I don't know how I lived. I'm glad you can survive the 80-degree temperatures, but like, give me 70s or give me bust. Pretty much. Not what not my preferable temperature. I was apparently born in the exact geographical climate that was worse for me. And I don't know how it happened, because now that I live in Wisconsin, I'm just like, holy heck, everything makes sense now. Why didn't I live here years ago? Oh my goodness. Your ideal day is a crisp, cloudy day in the mid-60s. Yes. I even like the cold 20-degree weather. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. Most of the time I'll wear a coat and be bundled up. But, like, you know, I like being able to be bundled up. I like being able to be cozy. I would rather be able to snuggle under a blanket or cuddle with my cat or wear layers and be warm and snug than, like, look, there's only a certain point of like, when you're cold, you can always put on more layers, but there's a finite number of layers. There's a minimum. There is a minimum there. And that is what I always struggle with, because if I am cold, I can just put something else on top of my other clothing. If I am too hot, then the only thing that I can really do is just lay on the floor in a pool of my own sweat and sometimes tears. No, I'm kidding mostly, but like, there's a finite limit to how much it helps before you have to start getting real creative with ways to cool down. There's definitely people who don't warm up as easily as they cool up. That's not me. Yeah, that is definitely a thing as well. And it it always feels like you start off in the climate that is worse for you. For me, because I've known people who are the opposite way, who did not live in California at first and were like, it is so cold, I am always so cold, why do I live in the cold? And we're equally awestruck to move away from the cold. Yeah, you can't sleep at all when it's hot. That is the thing that I struggle most with, is I already have insomnia. If it is hot, then forget about it. I will just be up and uncomfortable and sad. So that was why in California for a while there we were doing our streams at like 10 o'clock at night. That was the only time, because I had to have a separate air conditioner in my room as well as the house air conditioner, because my room would get so hot because I was over the garage, and it would get too hot between the computer and the heat coming up from the garage that the normal air conditioner wouldn't do it, but you couldn't hear anything over the portable one that I had to have in my window. So, yeah, that was why we had to stream very late at night for a while there. It just was not working. And even here, it gets a little uncomfy sometimes doing recording and having to turn off everything. Like, I don't have my fan off for stream, thankfully, but I do turn everything off when I record because the audio for that is a little bit more sensitive. So, with just the way that I do the audio there, my stream audio quality is through OBS, whereas I do it separately and edit it out background noise. And if I edit out too much background noise, then my voice gets really tinny and robotic, and that's a little bit unpleasant to listen to, I've found. So I don't like I don't like editing out my fan noise. I would rather just go without my fan, but on certain afternoons, I'm just like, oh, ugh, this is not great. So, thankfully here, 9 months of the year are ranging from really tolerable to it is actively beneficial to have my computer pumping out heat, because then I don't have to run my actual heaters in my apartment. Yeah, it was like midnight out here because I was 2 time zones behind where I am now. So, it was very, very late for poor Rain. Not that we don't stay up late normally, but, yeah. Not an ideal situation, but we made it work. Yeah, the 3 a.m. for you, goodness sakes. Yeah, it was a time. It definitely was a time. Hello, Moose. Can't do math, you don't think it was 3 a.m. If you're East Coast, that was probably like 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., so not too far off. Depending on the time zone. It was very late, to say the least. For some people here. It was like, I don't know, I wonder sometimes how weird I was during those streams, because like generally I don't like recording things after like 8 or 9 p.m. because I hit a point where I am not fully conscious, and then I'm just like rambly and weird, kind of the way that I am I feel rambly and weird right now. I did not get enough sleep because I was up too late, and Evelyn has taken to screaming at 9 a.m. every morning. I love this cat. I don't love this schedule. I do not love the schedule she's set for me. Like, 9 a.m. is not a horrible time to wake up, but it means that if I go past my bedtime too far, I will not need the 9 hours of sleep that I apparently need to be a functional human being. And so the fact that Evelyn screams at 9 means that I have to be very judicious about my bedtime, and I thought maybe she was getting better about that. She'd been letting me sleep in a little bit the previous few days, but she decided, no, sleeping in is done, the weekend is done, I scream at 9 a.m. So, cats are just furry alive alarm clocks. No kidding. No kidding. They keep you on task. My childhood cat, Beanie, was one of the best at telling time, because he had to get multiple different feedings throughout the day, and so does Evelyn. But he would let you know if you were off schedule. Like, you didn't even have to necessarily set timers or anything to remember all the different feedings. He would show up, and he would meow, and he would complain until you fed him. He has a better concept of time than I do. Mood. I found out recently that Evie is, like, a very smart cat. Like, not that I'd ever thought that she wasn't, but I wasn't sure, because there's a spectrum of cat from no thoughts head empty to super genius. My parents' cat is like a super genius, we've discovered. They have tried to entertain him and preoccupy him with puzzles, and I have watched him solve them without, like, a moment's hesitation, without even flinching. So, Buddy is a very smart cat. Meanwhile, Shadow did not think. I don't know how many coherent thoughts this cat experienced in her life. I really, genuinely do not. She was just vibing her way through life with a good dose of anxiety along the way. So there's a whole spectrum here, and I have never been sure where on that spectrum Evie falls, because she is, she's lazy. She's lazy as frick, and so very rarely is she motivated to actually do all that much. She likes to lay around and snooze and chill out all day, which mood. But she's a very lazy cat. She spends a lot of her time sleeping. She's just not very high energy, except for a few very specific portions of the day. So I've never been really sure where on that spectrum she falls, but I found out recently that she is, in fact, extremely smart, because we have been having a battle over her food for several months, because every time I take Evie to the vet, they put her on the scale, and Evie is a large cat. She's large in natural size, but she is large in girth as well. This happened somewhere along the line, probably because she doesn't do all that much playing, and, you know, she was a stray cat, so when we first got her, she was really skinny, and she did not stay really skinny. She is now a very chunky lass, and every time I go to the vet with her, they're like, you know, she's a little chubby, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know, we're working on this. So it has been, for most of the time that I've had Evie, a little bit of a struggle to try and keep that managed, because Evie likes food. She likes to eat. And I have discovered through the process of trying to keep this cat on a diet that she is extremely intelligent, because we are in a battle of wits over this. Evie will eat whatever food I put down for her immediately, and this has resulted in me having to break her food up into like 4 feedings per day, in order to not have her immediately consume everything and then be hungry and then be sick because she's too hungry for too long, because she does not moderate out her food. And I just thought, okay, you know, she doesn't have the sense to, she doesn't have the foresight to moderate out her food through the day. She's living in the moment. She's going, ooh, I have food, I eat food. But I found out recently that this was not the case, because I've taken a few vacations this year and I've been gone a few days, and I was talking afterwards about Evie with her pet sitters. And it turns out that Evelyn does extremely well with 1 feeding a day when no one is here. And when she knows she's going to get fed once a day, she will spread her food out throughout the day. So this was the proof to me that Evelyn is actually a very intelligent cat, because she knows that if I'm here to feed her, I will give her food rather than letting her, you know, be actually sick, because the poor girl has a sensitive stomach. If she's too hungry, she throws up. She uses that fact to get me to feed her. So the workaround for this has been me giving her tiny, very measured out portions throughout the day, and it's just kind of a mess. So now she wakes me up at 9 a.m. because she's hungry, and I don't sleep in anymore, I guess. And this is just how cat ownership is. Like, I love this cat so much. I cannot imagine a world without her. I would not have it any other way, but oh my goodness, I wish that we were not in just like a constant battle of wits. I don't want to have to pit my intelligence against my cat every day. And she's still chonky. She hasn't even lost weight, so I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I love Evelyn, but yeah. She is a super genius. She is incredibly smart, but rarely is she motivated to use this intelligence. All right, I'm gonna sleep her a little bit overtime. Evie is a master of psychological manipulation. She really is. She is too smart for her own good here. Oh my goodness. And it's also very funny to me that Oliver, Rain's cat, wanders around meowing for ice cubes if if not given them on schedule. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is fair. Your dogs act like children if you tell one of them no. She sighs very loudly. Evelyn has taken to biting. I wish she wouldn't. I think she thinks she's a mama cat and is trying to discipline me. Uh-oh. She never bites hard. She bites very gently, but if I remove her from somewhere she wants to be, she will turn around. Oh no, it's Twister. And she'll just put her teeth very gently, but noticeably on my arm. I'm like, girl, stop trying to discipline me for telling you no. This is not how this works. Anyway, I think we gotta wrap up here. Evie will use all of her brain power on food. This is the only thing that motivates this cat enough to cause chaos with her intelligence. Yeah, Typhoon, you're probably gonna have to handle going out and marking the territory for the day. At least it's pretty solidly marked, but I think we're gonna be staying here for a lot of next time. At least we only have 3 pups, so the food isn't gonna be a horrific issue. We are going to go ahead and leave this off here for today because it is getting to be about that time again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and drop a follow at twitch.tv/jzx535 so you can see when we are next going live. But I will see you guys next time, and until then, this is Jay. Over and out.